Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green, and as you can see, the Swindon Swoodilypoopers are all the way up to 5th, and actually we're 9 points out of 1st. We got a long way to go to catch Sunderland. We're taking on Brighton and Hove Albion today, one of my favorite teams in the championship. I wish them all of the best, except today. They've got a guy named Greer on their team. That's promising. We have Leroy Williamson and John Green up front, as well as Fireball Wilson, Roberts, and a Judge out on the wings for us today. Our defense is anchored. Oh, by Ginger McShane. My wife might go into labor at any moment, said past me. Future me, of course, is in a totally different situation. So if I stop in the middle of this video, you'll know why. I'm going to talk today about nudes, specifically the business of sending the naked pictures to the people on the internet. Oh, get it! Get off the post! Everything is disappointment. Sorry. I'm going to talk about nudes. And the sending of naked pictures to people you know on the internet. This is this is not a new phenomenon. So I grew up on the internet when I was in high school. Was 1994, I guess. And it was very hard to send images in 1994 because the internet was slow. But it was mostly hard to send images because you didn't have any digital pictures of yourself. Digital cameras at the time were like insanely expensive, like $10,000. And what did I get a yellow card for? Maybe they're just showcasing how great McCormick is. I don't know. Digital cameras at the time were $10,000. There were no real scanners. And if there had been, like, it was, you know, extremely inefficient to send pictures. So you didn't send pictures, but there was still, you know, quite a bit of, like, in my days of the internet in high school, like quite a bit of sort of like online dating, some of which was, you know, sort of sexualized and some of which wasn't. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, a great tackle. A great, heroic tackle. I think that was Silva. That's a Swindon classic. What's wrong? Oh, Meredith's contact hurts. So, are you okay? All right, she's crying. She's upset. She's upset because she's upset to hear that the internet used to be green letters on a black screen. It's devastating. So it wasn't but it wasn't the same issue. I mean, you did use your real names online back then, and so I guess like people could sort of like track you, but you weren't Googleable. Like it was just it was culturally very different. And I wasn't, you know. So anyway, I guess the message, the message here. This was something someone asked about in comments that got a lot of upvotes. That's why I'm talking about it, by the way. The message here is that is to be careful. Because you don't always know who you can trust, you know, this is true for real life interactions as well as internet interactions. You know, you don't always know who's trustworthy, and you also don't always know what the future looks like. And so, you know, if you put someone in a position where they can really hurt you, they might, and they might not seem like the kind of person who's going to really hurt you now, but they might hurt you later. Yeah, so, you know, and the thing that was different, I guess, the thing that's different about the internet is that it does have an eternality to it. Not totally eternal, of course, but, you know, you can, you know, I don't want to be too specific, but there are ways for someone to see you naked that, you know, end when you put your clothes back on, such as if there aren't, you know, there are no cameras involved or whatever. So I really think it's a matter of sort of trying to be judicious and, you know, and understanding that, like, people might change. Now, that said, like, I think the biggest thing, though, is that because this is like a pretty widespread phenomenon, I think we kind of have to get rid of, oh, I was offside, really, ref? There's a lot of like shame and bullying attached to this stuff, to naked photographs or whatever, and also to just generally to people's sexuality, and you know that this happens, and then like it gets out and it gets sent around the school, and everybody calls the person a slut or makes fun of their penis size or whatever it is. And it's just, I mean, like, you know, that kind of like cruelty and bullying is been a part of human species for a long time, and I assume that it's not going away, and I assume nothing I say in a Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers video is going to make it go away. But what I can say is that you don't have to participate in it. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Score! Score! Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. Leroy Williamson, he scores occasionally. Also true in his personal life. Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. He doesn't always score. Leroy Williamson, he scores occasionally. That was a beautiful goal. Oh, that's what we watch the Swoodilypoopers for beautiful finishes like that one. Leroy Williamson, a different man since he got off the TARDIS. A hero to Swindon, particularly as we suffer in the wake of the loss of Bald John Green, our hero and talisman. Get it? Get it? Oh, that would have been a beauty. Yeah, don't participate in that. Like, you know, if people, you know, if people have made, I don't even want to say mistakes. Like, if people have chosen to share, you know, share their sexuality with someone who then betrayed their confidence, choose not to participate in that. Choose not to participate by choosing not to look at such images, and choose not to participate by choosing not to be mean or cruel or judgmental about that person and their, you know, and their body or their sexuality or whatever. I know that can be hard, and I know that, like, particularly on the internet where things feel anonymous, where it doesn't feel like you're hurting anyone to look at something, that that can be difficult. But you know, you are. Like, I think the Princess Kate fiasco was a really good example of that. Like, here's this woman who, you know, is topless on, you know, in a private, outside but still private space, and who has, you know, a reasonable expectation, I think, of privacy, and who gets these, you know, photographs taken of her from 15,000 yards away, and then the world is looking at them. Oh goodness, not my best work defensively. Oh, but it all worked out in the end, and I used the X button. Great job, John. Excellent use of a new button. So I just think, like, you know, in that situation, I know that it's you know, you want to, you know, human beings are inevitably curious. I remember being curious when that news came out. You know, she's an attractive person and a famous princess, and you think, like, oh, I could see that person naked? I'd like to. But it really, you know, if we choose, oh God, anything but that! Oh, Hammond! If we choose not to look at those images, the value of those images goes down, and you know, then it becomes less likely that they will be taken in the first place. Now, that's a very different situation, obviously, than people who, like, choose to share an image with someone that they're, you know, having a relationship of some kind with. But regardless, a pretty good rule of thumb is that if somebody doesn't want you to see something, maybe you should just go ahead and not look at it. Yeah. So I end up, I mean, you know, I end up feeling, you know, frankly, like, it's deeply, profoundly not the business of, not my business to, like, sort of involve myself in other people's private sexual experiences, even if those private sexual experiences are then made public against my will. Like, I didn't look at Anthony Weiner's pictures, and you know, like, obviously he shouldn't have been, like, texting with interns or whatever, tweeting. I don't even, how does it work? I don't even know. Tweeting with interns or, you know, models. But, like, you know, his marriage is his business, and the way that it works is his business. Now, he's a public figure, and, like, I don't know if we're going to elect him to do a job. I guess maybe we don't want that job to include tweeting. But, like, yeah, I just chose not to look at those images, and I had to say, I don't feel worse off for having not seen them. And I did the same thing with the, what is her name, Kate Middleton? Yeah, with the Kate Middleton pictures. Like, I just chose not to look at them. And my life is not any worse because I didn't look at them. In fact, I think my life's a little bit better, probably. It's hard to do that because, yeah, the internet is such a place of, like, curiosity and fascination. But, you know, it is possible. So, and also, I mean, not to be too graphic here or anything. Maybe we should put an NSFW tag on this one. Although I guess if it's called Nudes, maybe that would be implied. Not to be too graphic or anything, but like, if you're desperate to see the male or female form, the internet can provide that. I mean, I think that's there's quite a bit of that on the internet of like, you know, of situations where people, Ginger, Harley, write it down. I'm coming for you, Harley, in January. If you have any talent whatsoever, prepare to be a Swoodilypooper. Yeah. So that's basically what I think, and I have to find a way to score a goal now. I forgot. I was so interested in this topic that I forgot to try to score. That's what always happens to me. That's my excuse. We can't let Brighton get a win here. Now we go up. Okay, we've got one chance. You know, I have to say, the 2013 Swoodilypoopers have not been as good at the last-second goal as previous iterations of Swoodilypoopers. But we're going to give it a try here. Come on. No! Yes! Yes! No! Leroy Williamson, you're supposed to have a good outside shot. You didn't put any hooga-hooga on it. Hooga-hooga is, of course, the key to scoring. All right. Frickin' draw. Meredith, how many 1-1 draws are we going to have? I'm going to have someone write a 1-1 draw song. Just another 1-1 draw. Why are we congratulating Wesley Crusher Foderingham when he gave up a goal? We don't want to feel good about draws. I'm going to go give these guys the business when they get back to the locker room. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.